Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 6th week of creative writing. I am your teacher, Haley Worgan. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you are enjoying a wonderful snow day here in Northwest Arkansas. And yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous outside. So, if you can, definitely take a look outside and experience that, right? Because these kind of things help with the writing process. Especially if you have a character who is living in colder conditions or, maybe having something exciting or special happen to them on a snow day. And now you get to experience it. I know that's kind of unheard of in this area. So, but today, so just very briefly, I won't waste too much time on this today. You guys know how important it is to turn in your work. Several of you are starting to turn in a little bit more, but you guys should know that I am getting in touch with your advisors just to have them get in touch with you in person, see what we can do to make this a little bit easier for you. If you have questions or if you have, things that need to be done to help you learn a little bit better, I really need you to reach out to me via the email in the comments or my email address is also on the slide presentation that I attach with every lesson. So we're a team. You are part of that team. Let's be successful, right? Let's give it our best and let's make the writing work for us, right? Let's use this time in creative writing to really channel your feelings and things that are going on with you so that you can learn from these things and continue to be successful students and writers. Okay? So that's about it for my little speech today, but I do have a small lesson for you. Today I wanted to talk about imagery. So you all are probably aware that imagery is a description that makes something seem real or easy to imagine. Okay, so these are things that appeal to the senses, like touch, smell, hearing, sight, and taste. Okay, so some examples of this would be sprinkles raindrops in my face. Because that helps you understand what the character would be feeling if they walked outside and raindrops were just sprinkling on their face, right? Or snowflakes dance across my face, right? That would be another great example, great modern kind of example of what's happening outside right now. Also, a sunny day, that's something very simple, right? But that helps us see what the character is seeing in the story. And you've probably heard of imagery before. You've probably talked about it in your English classes, but, and really a lot of you are using it pretty effectively in your writing already. But do you know why it's important? See, the thing is, imagery helps us connect to characters in a way we would not be able to do without it. Imagery is how we immerse readers in our writing as well. It is how we help others understand what characters are feeling in fiction. It's how we help them relate to what we are going through in personal essays. And it's how we turn poetry into something more, really, through the words of the speaker in the poem. So I'm going to read a little example to you. This is actually one of the small essays from the house on Mango Street. It's called Meme Ortiz. Meme Ortiz moved into Kathy's house after her family moved away. His name isn't really Meme. His name is Juan. But when we asked him what his name was, he said Meme. And that's what everybody calls him except his mother. Meme has a dog with gray eyes, a sheepdog with 2 names, one in English and one in Spanish. The dog is big, like a man dressed in a dog suit, and runs the same way its owner does, clumsy and wild, and with limbs flopping all over the place like untied shoes. Kathy's father built the house Meme moved into. It is wooden. Inside, the floors slant. Some rooms uphill, some down, and there are no closets. Out front, there are 21 steps, all lopsided and jutting like crooked teeth, made that way on purpose, Kathy said, so the rain will slide off. And when Maymay's mama calls from the doorway, Maymay goes scrambling up the 21 wooden stairs with the dog with 2 names scrambling after him. Around the back is a yard, mostly dirt, and a greasy bunch of boards that used to be a garage. But what you remember most is this tree, huge with fat arms and mighty families of squirrels in the higher branches. All around the neighborhood of roofs, black tarred and A-framed, and in their gutters, the balls that never came back down to earth. Down at the base of the tree, the dog with 2 names barks into the empty air, and there at the end of the block, looking smaller still, our house with its feet tucked under like a cat. This is the tree we chose for the first annual Tarzan jumping contest. Maymay won and broke both arms. Okay, so my question for you here, did you hear what the environment is like? You can rewind, kind of go back and listen a little bit. It's a very short example, right? So make a few notes. Okay, so if you did that, you might have picked up on the example that the environment, we have this house that the mysterious character Kathy's father previously built. Notice that it is lopsided. Sandra Cisneros from the house on Mango Street, Sandra Cisneros, she describes this house as lopsided. She says the floors slant, some uphill, some down. This is a piece of imagery, so you can see that, right? We know what hills look like. We also know what it feels like to walk down a hill or walk up a hill or go up a hill or go down a hill in a variety of circumstances. And so you can really imagine that feeling, of the air going past your face as you walk down, right? Or the feeling of going upwards, right, on that hill. So something else you might notice about this environment is that there is a giant tree, and it says here that at the base of the tree, the dog with 2 names barks into the empty air. That's something we can hear as well. So another question I have for you guys is, what do you know about Maymay's personality? How does imagery help? Well, if you go back and you look at the part about the description of the dog, it says that the dog is big like a man dressed in a dog suit and runs the same way its owner does. So right here, we bring Maymay back into this. It runs the same way its owner does, clumsy and wild, with limbs flopping all over the place like untied shoes. So we know Maymay is clumsy. And that is actually brought back in the end when he unfortunately breaks both of his arms in that contest. Now, what is Maymay's relationship like with his mother? And how do you know? Well, it says that when Maymay's mama calls from the doorway, Maymay goes scrambling up the 21 wooden stairs with the dog with 2 names scrambling after him. Maymay's mother is mentioned one time here, but immediately, because we know he goes scrambling up those stairs, that imagery of trying to get up those stairs so clumsily and quickly with that dog right behind him, we know that he at least respects his mother and maybe even loves her so much that the moment she calls, he is doing everything in his power to get closer to her. Okay, so with that example in mind, I would like you guys this week to try this. I would like you to build a little bit of a background for a character. Now, this assignment is actually going to be shorter this week, okay, for a few reasons. This is going to build onto a bigger project that I have in mind for you guys, and I want you to really take this seriously because it's going to help you bring everything together with that project. So I'd like you to create a character and use the attached questions to really develop, and I say the attached questions. I'm going to mention them also here, but they will also be in the PowerPoint presentation, okay? So I want you to answer the questions I've included to develop, what you want your reader to know about that character. So imagery will be key in developing a strong character with whom your readers can connect. Now, this is not just going to be any character. In previous assignments, I've kind of left things a little bit more open for you guys. So you've been able to, in some cases, talk about your own experiences or, just have a little bit more creative freedom. But this time, I want you to choose from the following images that I'm going to share with you in this video. And I want you to create a fictional life for the person in whichever image you choose. So the images are going to include 4 different, very different people. So I'll go ahead and show those here. Okay, so you've seen these 4 different people, and what I want you to answer are the following questions. What does my character feel, both physically and emotionally? What is the weather like? What does my character see? What does my character hear? Is there a particular smell in their surroundings? So like a hot dog stand, right? Chlorine from a pool, rain, trash, anything specific. What does my character hope to see? So as promised, I completed this exercise as well. And my example, I ended up choosing the elderly gentleman in the first photo. Okay. What does my character feel both physically and emotionally? The wrinkles in my skin are rough to the touch. Walking these fields in a dress shirt and tie is causing sweat to creep down my spine. In those 2 sentences, you can feel the rough wrinkles on the skin. You can feel the sweat, and so that's something we can all kind of relate to. You might not be able to relate to the wrinkles yet, but you can relate to being outside in the heat and the warm and having that feeling. What is the weather like? The fall weather is a little warmer than it normally is by this time of year. So immediately, this is something else you can feel, and we know that it's fall, and we know that the character is maybe uncomfortably warm, okay, which we've already established really with the sweat, too. What do they see? Brilliant yellows and faded brown and orange fills my vision. The fading sunlight calms my soul. There is nothing but fields and gravel for as far as the eye can see. My hands look older than they once did when I first walked this road, but every line is a memory. Okay, so there are a couple of things I want to kind of correct in that a little bit, just to kind of smooth out the wording. But what you can hear is that you can see the fading sunlight. As the reader, there's your imagery, right? You can see the fading sunlight. You can see the yellows and browns and oranges, fields and gravel as far as the eye can see. And then you have the character looking down at their hands and seeing the wrinkles, not just feeling the wrinkles on their skin, but seeing how their hands have changed over time. Okay, so finally, these last few questions, what do they hear? Wind travels through the tall grass in the field. Somewhere in the distance, hunting dogs are barking. Echoes of joy are almost strong enough to hear between the rustling leaves. Okay, so my character hears wind through the grass, hunting dogs barking, and kind of, memories coming through, memories of things that happened. but more importantly, rustling leaves. Okay, again, emphasizing the fact that it is autumn, it is fall, and you can hear those leaves. Is there a particular smell in their surroundings? Rain is coming, you can smell it in the air. Very simple, 2 sentences, but immediately that's another detail the reader can connect with, being able to smell that rain. What do they hope to see? I will not see her here, but this is the home we built together. We watched our children grow up playing in these fields, and we cared for them together until she died. I dress up and venture out for a picnic by the sunset in her honor on our anniversary every year. Okay, so right there we know that he misses someone, probably his wife or partner, and he has dressed up to go out to the field. He knows he's not going to see his partner who has passed away, but the fact that he hopes to see her is something that really should allow the reader to connect with this story in an emotional way. So now it's your turn, okay? So I want you to choose from those 4 images I showed you earlier in the video and answer those questions that I've mentioned in the video. They'll also be in the slide, and share your work with me via Google Docs by Friday, February 19th at 11:59 p.m. So I've included my email address in the slide presentation and in the notes, so please email me if you have any questions. Okay, thank you guys so much. I really, really hope you are enjoying your snow day. And again, I ask you, please turn in your work, because you do not want to be stuck with all of this work right before grades are due, because you're not going to turn your best work in, and you'll be overwhelmed, and that will be incredibly stressful. And I just don't want you to have to deal with that. I want you to succeed, I want you to be happy, and I want you to enjoy this class, All right, you guys are awesome, and be safe out there. I'll see you again soon. I'll announce my virtual office hours in the class notes this week. Bye, guys.